Continuing our many adventures, we bought a fire truck back in 2015. Intentions to convert it to a camper and explore the world. Join us. We are EB257. Tell you what guys, I've got a real treat for you today. A real treat. In fact, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get over there. Right, today I've got a little bit of a surprise for you. It's something different. I don't normally do the walk-arounds, but I'm here today looking at this one heck of a DAF vehicle. Now, I don't know much about DAFs, I'll be quite honest with you. I've got a friend here who actually owns this vehicle, and he knows a lot more about the vehicle than what I do. So, Ash, come over here and tell us a little bit about this vehicle. So, yeah. I know it's a DAF, but I mean, what's the history behind it? Do we know?
So it's an ex-troop carrier.
Yeah.
We bought it with a flatbed on the back, canvas back, rows of seats.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know much about where it's been or what it's done in its life. It's very low mileage, so it's not really been used all that much.
Cool.
And when we've had all the cab mats out, there's a hell of a lot of sand under there.
Right.
So
okay.
Kind of obviously gives us an idea on where it's been used.
So no bullet holes or anything like that.
Not that I've found. No, a couple of dents here and there, but yeah. So yeah, obviously it is quite a shadow history.
Right. Okay. Cool. What engine's in this then?
It's a Cummins engine, 5.9 diesel. Yeah, turbo diesel, running about 145 horsepower as standard. But the scope obviously to be able to turn that up a bit.
Yeah. No, that's nice. I noticed you've got some nice new tyres on here as well there. They're a little bit chunkier than mine, I must say. Yeah,
so obviously when we bought it, the tyres was original tyres, so they were obviously like 27 years old. Still nothing wrong with them, but I'm not really happy with, from a safety point of view, running on the original tyres.
Yeah.
So it was just, to get a full set of new, slightly wider, slightly larger, just to give a bit of a better platform, bit of a better look, and then we know they're brand new, so hopefully in theory they should be safe.
Yeah, they should be good for a few thousand miles, I guess.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully.
So the colour then, obviously this isn't a military colour.
No.
Have you choose this colour yourselves?
Yep, so obviously we've heard quite a few stories on certain borders when you're travelling across the world, that if you're in a military colour you can struggle to get over certain borders. Yeah. And we didn't want to really have that, but we didn't want to stand out and be too in your face with it, because we do want to try and be obviously blend in a bit, obviously with the landscapes, things like that. So it was a colour that took a lot of deciding because of the size of it. Obviously it could even make or break it, on how the truck would look at the end. And yeah, we just come across this this colour online really. We'd seen another truck, from another country in it, so kind of pinched the idea from there. And the amazing thing about the colour is different lights can make it look different as well.
No, definitely. I think the colour is suited, especially with the black as well. It just definitely works. What do you think, guys? Comment down below and tell us what you think about the colour. I mean, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Ash, the colour and the roof rack, and whether it being the black and the what colour is it? Do we know?
I couldn't
tell
you, to be honest.
But it just works so well, it really works well. So the roof rack then, I mean, I can see some initials up there, or some company initials.
Yep, so this has been made by a guy called Jonathan Haugen. He's down in Kings Lynn. He made the full roof rack, the ladders, the bush bars. It comes all as one kit. Obviously, really sturdy piece of kit. You know, really impressed with the work. He's a really good fabricator, and he's actually got going to be doing quite a bit on the truck. Moving forward, and with the plans that we have got for it.
I know what this is.
Yeah.
But do you want to tell the people out there what the idea is?
Yeah, so the idea was basically, just to put the air intake higher, because originally it came out here, which we can see the exhaust directly below. So it was just sucking in hot, dirty air. So the idea was put it up there, out of the way, nice, fresh, cold, clean air. So obviously just let the engine perform that little bit better.
Yeah, definitely.
Just a bit cleaner for the engine.
Yeah. So we've got a nice box on the back here. Did you do this yourself or?
No. So the box wasn't built by myself, just because obviously doing it at home on the drive, things like that, I haven't got the space or the tools or to be able to do it on my own. So I actually got a company over in Oldham, LGF Commercials, to do the box for me, but they also did the paint job as well. So I kind of dropped it off just as a chassis. They painted all the chassis, the engine, the cab, and then they basically built the subframe underneath. And then they built the box from there. So the box itself is 5.2 metres long,
right,
by 2 metres high, and then I think it's 2.5 metres wide. Yeah. So it's basically the maximum you can go on this particular DAF chassis.
Right, okay. Done a very nice job there, very nice job. I see you've got the faux awning as well.
Yep.
Something I'm thinking about doing on eBay. So how's that work? Does it work all right?
Amazing, yeah. So literally pull up, use your handle inside, it's out within 30 seconds, peg it down, it's usable. It's nice and easy, it does the job, it's really sturdy, and obviously it looks the part as well.
Yeah, no, it looks very nice. And the windows, what sort of windows are these?
So these windows are actually made by a company called Motorcraft. They're double glazed glass windows, and obviously the glass sits flush in the frame, so a bit more protected from like your caravan windows that do sit a bit proud, you know. So hopefully they're a little bit more protected, less chance of damage and things. But all the furniture obviously on the windows, the handles and the catches are all aluminium, so they feel solid, really good quality windows. And all being well, obviously it should really help with keeping the the heat in and the cold out, and vice versa.
No, they're very, very nice windows. Something what I may look at upgrading sometime in the future. Definitely, because the caravan motorhome type windows, well, they are what they are. But something like this with a glass window is something well worth putting on a vehicle like this for sure.
They just need finishing off. I need to paint them, or they're going to get colour coded to the truck, but they've only just been fitted.
No, very nice. Yep. So the back here.
Yep.
Any plans for the back area?
Yep, actually, a bit later on this week, the plan is it's going down to the fabricators, and we're going to have some sort of motorcycle / spare wheel carrier on the back, so that we can free up the space under the truck to put plenty of storage, and obviously, like I say, have the bike on the back, just for easier access, in certain tight places. I think
certainly having a secondary vehicle, whether it's a scooter or a pedal bike, is definitely worthwhile. Because as we know, the miles per gallon on these are not ideal for running around and nipping down to the local chip shop. So you buy a bike and then send the missus down there. So you just mentioned about the lockers then. Are you intending having some lockers on these?
Yep, so we're going to do away with the wheel arches, and obviously the side rails, and on this side there's not really much scope for storage because we're putting a bigger long range fuel tank on it. We're going to have a little locker here. There's a good chance it's going to have the gas cylinders and things like that in, so they're external to the body. It's more the other side. There's going to be another locker behind the wheel on the other side that's going to have a pull-out kitchen area, so we can cook outside. And then obviously underneath the other side of the truck, big storage lockers for all the dirty outdoorsy type stuff.
Right, okay. And what size fuel tank is on this at the moment then?
At the moment, this is the standard tank that comes with it. It's 136 litres. But obviously, cost of mile to the gallon's not really all that cracking. We are looking to put a 210 litre on that you can buy off the shelf, fits in the space, and just dead easy, to put straight on.
Right. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. We'll have a look in the driver's cab now, before we have a peek on the inside. So we're inside the cab. Now I know you mentioned Ash about painting and getting rid of this green colour. I think it's quite attractive, but what are your plans for that then?
So there's still a lot of work to do in the cab. Obviously we've not really spent much time in here as of yet, just because we want to get the box done. You know, there's still loads to do all around the truck, but the plans are to get rid of all the military olive drab green, just to make it a little bit softer in here. You know, add some fabrics and things, you know, put some nicer seats in with armrests, just make it as comfortable as we can for the long journeys. Obviously we've got to keep the wife happy as well.
Yeah.
We've started with the sound deadening just to make the cab a little bit quiet, because as you know, we're sat on top of the engine here, so it can be a little bit noisy. It's not as noisy as we originally thought it was going to be, but it does definitely help, obviously, sound deadening it all. The plan is to then obviously insulate it a little bit, and then board it all out and carpet it, which will obviously absorb and dampen down the sound a bit. We've bought a coal box here, you know, that obviously will be running, you know, the plumbed in, wired in constantly, so we can keep drinks, sandwiches, things like that. And then this side there's going to be a storage box just to keep basic tools, spares, things like that. We're going to keep this section pretty empty, because the long-term plan is we're going to have a crawl through like you've just done on eBay, just to make life easier for getting in and out emergencies, or even if we're in traffic, you know. So.
I think on my latest vlog I've mentioned we certainly on the ferry we couldn't leave the ferry to actually walk around the ferry. We had to stay in those vehicles, and that was just ideal to actually open up that, go through, make a cup of tea or something. So, but yeah, you know, don't be too hasty and cut that out. You know, certainly see whether it works. And
we need to get everything else we want in here first to see what space we're left with. But yeah, it's definitely on the cards at some point.
So we've got a roof hatch. Is that working? Or?
Yeah, so the roof hatch works. It's a common problem on these trucks that they can leak. Obviously, you know, so it's a bit more of a water feature rather than, you know, a sunroof. But yeah, obviously we're quite lucky in this. Jone, up to press, it's been all right. But yeah, obviously undo the clasp, the top comes off, and obviously you can access all the roof rack.
That's nice. And plans for maybe a stereo or a radio, I guess.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, eventually, you know, we've just started putting electrics in so we can convert from 12 volt down into from 24 volt down into 12 volt. So obviously we've got the reversing camera all rigged up now, which makes life a lot easier, you know, for seeing behind you.
Yeah, definitely.
We've obviously put, you know, USBs in for charging phones, we've got chargers, sat nav. So yeah, we are slowly bringing electrics into the cab, but once we've carpeted it, we're going to put some lights up inside, you know, for reading the maps. We've got, you know, various plans for adding things like a radio, potentially a CB radio. You know, just so that obviously we've got everything to hand, you know, and same again, just bring some more creature comforts in that we're more used to obviously having a motorhome, just to make your journey, you know, that little bit better.
I mean, it is a very clean cab, I must say, you know what I mean, it's and unlike the military things, this looks like it's actually being looked after as well. Yeah,
so when we bought the truck, there was 33,000 kilometres on the truck, you know, so just low 20s, you know, in miles. So it's not really done all that much, but also we did search for quite a while for this particular truck, and we bought it privately off a guy that apparently, you know, searched over 100 trucks to find this particular one, and it was a really good base to start with, which I do think's made life easier as well.
And what's it like to drive? I mean, a lot of people see vehicles like this and, you know, they shy away from them because of the size of the vehicle, and you know, what's it like to drive? How do you find it?
So obviously it's a truck, so it drives like a truck. It has got power steering. Obviously it's right-hand drive as well. So and it's got, with it having a turbo, it's not labouring all the time. So yeah, it drives like a truck, but it drives a lot better than I expected it to drive. And the more I drive it, the more, you know, easier I am finding it.
I tend to find, I mean, it took me quite a while to get used to driving the Mercedes, but I think it's one of those things, it's like buying a new car, you know, after a while you do get used to the truck, you get used to the spaces what you can pass through. And I was just saying on his way down here, you know, I don't even bat an eyelid now of parking in like, you know, the Aldi or the Tesco's car park. I just pull in there and it's no problem. So you do get used to driving these vehicles. So we've got a 5-speed box. What people are going to want to know firstly, miles per gallon, and what's the top speed?
So with the larger tyres, it would probably go about 60 miles an hour, but that's flat out, obviously really struggling. It's not happy, it's going to use so much more diesel.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
We've realised, we've been away in it, and we're looking, it's got a nice sweet spot about 52 miles an hour. It just seems to sit really happy. It's the engine noise isn't half as bad, do you know, so yeah, it's pretty happy at, you know, at 52. Miles to gallon, on a good run, you're looking at about 15,
cool.
but round town more 10 to 12.
Yeah, okay. What's the weight of the vehicle as it stands at the minute?
So at the moment, it's about 6 to 6.5 tons. I've not quite had it on a weighbridge yet, you know, since obviously we've been putting the interior in, but that's roughly what we're looking at, you know. But the gross vehicle could be up to as big as 10.9 tons, I think it is.
So there's plenty of scope for plenty more equipment going on here, and yeah. A lot more tins of beans in the cupboard.
Yeah.
There's one problem with having a camper van or a vehicle like this, is that you get random strangers pulling up and talking to you. So be warned. These entry steps, are these the standard military ones, I guess?
Yeah, so we just managed to pick some up just for ease, really, just a temporary solution. Obviously they've got adjustable feet, so when you're on uneven ground, things like that, we can obviously just adjust it, you know, to what needed, and then away we go. But we're finding that they're quite big and bulky,
yeah,
and
I can imagine.
struggling for somewhere to put them. So there is something else on the cards that we're going to change, you know, what we use.
Okay, so what are you planning on having then? You know, if are you going to have a pull-out system, or what are your thoughts?
So we've looked into the pull-out systems, and as great as they are, the way that this box is built, there's not enough room under the chassis, you know, without obviously making big adaptations. So we've seen the other type, the scissor type, that's storing a little locker underneath pull out. But I think the route we're going to go is have like a pull-out platform and have a different type of step that's not quite as big, bulky, as these that go down the side.
And come down this way.
Yeah, so you can you're not obviously having to come as far out, so if you haven't got as much room, it's obviously a lot closer, but also you can steady yourself on the truck as you're walking up the steps.
That's right. I mean, you've got that built-in handrail, haven't you? So yeah. So you've got quite a bit of work to do on this then so far.
Definitely, yeah.
Right, okay, let's have a look inside then.
Yeah, follow me.
Wow. It even smells new.
So there's still a hell of a lot to do in the box.
Yeah, I can bet. So yeah, I can see that you're halfway through, or maybe a quarter of the way. Actually.
Yeah, I'd say it's more a quarter of the way through. But yeah, it's very basic at the moment, but we have been able to use it.
Yeah, so very nice. I do like the open layout. It's very nice. Okay, what's I know we've talked about the box on the outside, but what sort of like insulation have we got on here? What's the thickness of the box? Firstly?
So the box is made out of the same stuff, so it's all GRP panels.
Yeah.
So it's 50mm for the walls and the ceiling.
Yeah.
Which with about, I think it's 1mm GRP on the interior and the exterior. And then the floor is actually built of 100mm insulation and then buffalo boarded on the top.
Right, excellent.
So yeah, and because of the windows as well, it really does, you know, keep the heat in.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more open plan than mine, but yeah, I have no problem eating, you know, hours at all. So yeah, I would imagine just having the cooker, you know, the stove on there is ample.
Oh, definitely.
So you've got the fixed bed at the back, TV. That's nice. I like the pillow window as well.
Yep.
So I know you're going to have something underneath here, but what have we got underneath here then?
So at the moment, this is just a really large garage area that you can access externally from a door on each side.
Right,
but as plans have kind of changed a little bit, and we're actually going to store the water tank central in there. We're looking at having 360 litres of fresh water on board. Cool. It's going to go into the centre of the garage area, so that the weight distribution obviously is perfect. It's going to be a baffled tank as well, so obviously that'll help. But that's then going to split the garage into two separate garages. So we're going to obviously have one garage that's going to be like a utility area. We're going to have things like his washing machine, all his water, plumbing area, you know, so that it's all clean, it's all accessible. Any issues, it should hopefully isolate it to that area. On this other side, it's going to be the more everyday stuff that we use on a regular basis. Obviously, it's all, because we camp on that side, that's where the awning is. It's easily accessible, so that we can get to things, you know, pretty easy. Okay, and I'm assuming at some point we're going to have a table here or something. Yep. So at the moment, obviously, you know, we've just got the seats in so that we can use it with somewhere to sit. Obviously, we can have his dinner on his lap type thing. But the next stage will be to put a table leg in, a nice big, you know, table that'll also drop down to make this into another bed, just for if we ever needed it, guests or things like that. But also the tabletop's going to be movable on the table leg, so we can slide it to either one side or the other, so that for on a night accessing the bed, we can slide the table right over to that side. We can obviously just step up onto here and straight onto the bed, so we're not falling over the table. But yeah, that's definitely on the cards. Yeah, that's cool. We've got a slight raised platform here. Yeah. Any ideas for that? Or? Yeah, so the original plan, we'd found a water tank that was just this height, but was the full area of this floor section. So it had kept the weight really nice and low, obviously really evenly distributed. But when we actually contacted the company for the water tank, the price was through the roof. And we're not trying to skimp on the build, but there's some things we're more than happy to spend the money on, and other things that's just outright overpriced. You know? Overkill. Yeah. I mean, you've always got this. I mean, I guess now you're looking at maybe storage underneath here, which you can never have enough storage anyway. So yeah, I mean, you can certainly turn this to your advantage anyway. Yeah, definitely. It's not going to be a waste of space. We're looking at potentially putting a plinth drawer on the front, so that'll come right out into the floor area, you know, so just anything, man, you know, just obviously keep our shoes in or something like that. But also, it's give us the opportunity to get things like water pipes, cables from one side of the truck over to the other side without them getting seen and being really neat and tidy, you know. So it gives us, obviously, you know, like I said, there's definitely positives to having it. Yeah, definitely. And obviously the kitchen area is opposite the doorway when you come in, which I think that works really nice as well, because you know, sometimes you're hot and sweaty when you're cooking and you've got the door open behind you. So I mean, that really works well. Yeah. The fridge freezer. This is interesting. Yeah, it's something we came across at a Caravan and Motorhome show. Originally, we was going for the twin drawer Vertifrigo fridge, you know, with the fridge freezer. My wife didn't like it in the first place. She thought it looked very industrial, commercial. Yeah. But we wanted to go with it because we've had good reviews, things like that. But we couldn't get it through the caravan door on the side of the truck, the habitation door. So we ended up having to do away with that idea and get a slimline one. But as you can see, it gives us a really good, you know, access to it. So if you're sat in the seating area, you want a drink, you can just get that way. And if you're in the kitchen, you can open it from the other side. Yeah, I must admit, I do like the, you know, you know, with the engine on both sides. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you're cooking, you're going to hinge it from this side, and then obviously, if you sat there on a night and you want a beer, why didn't I get one of those? So now I can tell we're building my camper. I know these are obviously just temporary and the fit and the work at the minute, but I mean, you're gonna have, like you say, a pull-out bed on here or something. Yeah. What's underneath the chairs here? Is this storage? Or? Yep. So the one on your side is going to be left completely empty. Plenty of storage. We're going to have boxes in there that's stackable, so we can get as much stuff under there as we can. So we've got a really big area on that side. On this side, it houses the boiler that does the hot water and the blown air central heating. So obviously this is going to be like a utility area that obviously just houses things like that will have a lift up lid on it. John, we can access it really easy. But obviously it's not really for storage in this side. Yeah. I see we've got storage. Let me just bring you over here. I mean, we have got storage behind the bed area, which again, it's obviously this is work in progress. So we've got plenty of storage there. Have you got any plans for any more storage? Yeah, so the plan is obviously at high level all the way across both sides. We're going to have, you know, cupboards going all the way across that'll obviously, you know, give us more than enough storage than we're going to need. We've also got obviously plenty of cupboard space in the kitchen area, and both underneath and above the fridge we're going to have, obviously underneath the fridge have drawers and above have a cupboard, so there's going to be more than what we need.
Very interesting, yeah. And you've got a very decent sized shower, I see here.
Yeah, it's a full 800 by 800 shower. It is something that we really wanted, you know, just not to be like cooped up in the shower area. You know, so yeah, obviously we've made sure that that was one of the first things that went in, and then kind of built the rest of the camper from there. Right,
yeah, that's nice. I can see you've got a cassette toilet. That looks nice. That's going to work well there. I can see obviously the area for the crawl through as well. What you've got planned.
Yeah,
that's quite nice. I think you're doing a fantastic job. I really do, and I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah,
with what I'm seeing now.
Yeah, it's getting there slowly. We've had the truck about 11 months now, from initially buying it. You know, and obviously we've got to this point. So, but it's been a lot of work, a lot of research, on where to get things, what companies to use. But up to press, I'm really happy with how it's starting to turn out.
I think you've made some right choices along the way. It's looking really well. So I guess the other thing what people are going to ask, batteries and solar panels.
So yeah, at the moment we've got 1,080 watts in total of solar on the roof. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of solar, and we're planning on running. We've currently got 2 batteries fitted, which are Victron gel batteries, 130 amp a piece. So we're currently running at 260 amp, but we're looking to double that. Up to 520 amp, so we've got more than enough power than we need.
That should be good. I mean, ample solar panels there. So I mean, even on a double day, you're going to get that little bit of a trickle charge going in there. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that sums it up. But you're doing a fantastic job, and we're going to have to come back in. How long? Another 12 months, or is it going to be another 5 year like mine?
Well, they're never ever finished, are they? So
no, they're not.
I'd like to think another 12 months it's going to look a hell of a lot different than what it does now. But yeah, let's see. Let's see where we're at.
So let's come back in another 12 months. We've got the promise of Ash here. We're going to come back in another 12 months and see what happens and see what it looks like in another 12 months. Stick around, and we'll have a few more looks at this vehicle. So what an interesting vehicle, and I'm quite sure you're going to agree on this, that the colour of it is absolutely beautiful as well. Like he says, there's some lockers going on there. It's going to colour code the windows to match the vehicle. But yeah, what a great vehicle this is. So I think while we're here, and it's such a nice day, I think Ash may just take us out for a test drive. So have you got the keys, Ash? Sounds like a yes. You don't see some distance. So listen guys, thanks for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed this walk around of Ash's vehicle. As you can see, he's only halfway through building it at the minute and fitting out the inside, but what a fantastic vehicle, and the look of it just looks beautiful. So yeah, Any comments, please stick them down below. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe. And see you next time.